the only reason that I believe South Africa is so advanced is because we have white people in the country. The only reason that I believe South Africa is so advanced is because we have white people in the country. And white people have been treated well. I'd venture to say that a lot of the things and what's the word? It's very hard for me to say. But I think a lot of the privileges that we enjoy as South Africa and the way we treated is also because white people haven't really been treated horribly as they have in other countries. And there are queer white people who are also in power who are protecting those freedoms. If you look at what happened in Zimbabwe, the minute that white farmers were treated horribly, what happened to the whole country? It shattered. What happened to Mozambique when Samora Machel came into power and he kicked out all the white people from the country? The white people blocked all the drains that were there. They blocked all the drains. They threw away all the plans of the city. To this day, there's buildings that they can't find the pipes, the plumbing. The Maputo is in a mess because they threw out all of those things because they said you guys are going to suffer. But what then happened also is that because you treated white people badly, you then had a horrible country as a whole in Mozambique. And if you then look at the pattern in all the countries, Nigeria maybe has a better time, an easier time in the world because they've got oil. They've got a thing that superpowers want. So they then deal with a different thing. And that's what, if you look at even Uganda passing the law, they made sure that they were safe because they started digging an oil well on the Tuesday before they passed the law. And they were okay to pass it because we have oil. We have what the West wants. So what are they going to do to us? What are you going to do? Because I've got something you want, which is the oil. And if it's not the West, it's going to be China. It's going to be the East. So I don't look at things just at face value. I look at them according to what is happening in that particular country. And I believe that in South Africa, because South Africa enjoys being able to go to all these countries with ease. I mean, people will explain to you how hard it is. With just a Zimbabwean passport, it's so hard to go anywhere in the world. But with a South African passport, you really just need to go to, you need to go, what is it? FS Global, VFS Global. And you have to send in how much money you have in your account, and you'll have an easier time getting...
to get a visa.
To get a visa. You'll have an easier time getting a visa than someone from Zimbabwe. So for me, the minute I see that a country is doing something like that, I tend to look at the news and see what's happening in the country. I dig, because that then tells you what the issue is. That's how I came to realize, on looking at the pattern of how white people have been treated around Africa and even the Middle East and elsewhere, is that the countries that suffer the most tend to be the countries that reject the West and people of the West who are white people.
South Africa is advanced for white South Africans. It wasn't advanced for anybody else. That is why they can do what they did to Zimbabwe, do what they did to Mozambique, ECT. Because those things are not built for any other person to utilize. You can have access to those privileges when they allow you to have access to them. In fact, they forced Black South Africans to build their ideal vision for them. They couldn't build it for themselves. Could we really call South Africa advanced in that sense? It'd be like, hey, you can only utilize my stuff when I tell you to. And when you step me the wrong way, I remove you from those privileges. Majority of Black South Africans don't have access to those quote-unquote so-called privileges.